see. Where's the person Ayaka told us about?
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden, after all these years?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. We've had no time to prepare. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we urge you to reconsider.
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about. Let's go over and see.
You must also be. Teijima has protected this place, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near. But now, all of a sudden, we will gladly apologize if...
If you want my opinion, it's clear that Teijima had done nothing wrong. And still, they confiscated his vision. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that, truth be told, we aren't sure whether...
Seems like he's away. You must be Teijima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason I would have to... True. But that's... And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why? I don't have answers to those questions, because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took... In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then...
Okay. Well, in that case, if we... But if you can't remember... Oh! Maybe if you just try...
Oh, that reminds me. Last time
I keep a diary?
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you said...
Perfect! So if we want to keep Teijima from leaving...
If you don't mind, we will...
This looks like Teijima's done. Let's see what we have today. The villagers and I today. I went kite. Huh? I went to pray at the shrine again. Now that's the kind. So this is the Omamori. Interesting. Looking at the color. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time... Somewhere that the soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe it must be some... It looks like a letter. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? So the reason Teijima... But he's been here for 30 years. Oh, okay. Well, let's go give Teijima his stuff back.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly... But I have no memory of any... Still, it's clear that I was waiting. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when we were... And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything I've... No, not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice. It's as if she'd never been in my life to be... I think maybe not. Although, What if she... When I think about it like that, how curious... I shall...
Tejima seems to be dealing okay. Seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. That certainly explains the state. At least we were able to help. According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission. They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order. But why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency?
The entire clan is counting on that food!
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about—
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you—
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this!
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll stop—
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true color. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us? Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. My own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to it. And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt Decree. Why would you be—
To be perfectly honest, all I know is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what they were. And it's not just that.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provision?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself to top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which is why I came here in the first place. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure.
But we better confirm. Let's go round up those— We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone—
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of— You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's teach them a lesson.
Get out of here!
Oh, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? Wicked Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just
So what did you see inside?
food supplies. You kidding? I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was playing. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little box for our...
You've got a deal. Now show...
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but IOU.
Yeah, a lot of them, and they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom of... As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our path...
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs.
Shut it.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Or perhaps there's something... Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it?
Whoa! Let's not get ahead of ours. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much...
Let me think. Kurosawa would come... However, the price of...
So that's how he was getting... But why did he have to purchase a usual amount?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculated. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found... So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather...
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the and no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hard... if you ask me... Had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. As for what, if you're still curious, what I see... That reminds... Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the
Sword? What?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses... I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even Oh, but before you go... Information, don't worry. I won't charge...
At least we now know where the emergent... Let's go talk to... What are you doing here all by...
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. It turned out to be a real time saver. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after... Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow... This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. and said to me, "With this sword..."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people I was so desperately trying to help. And the irony of all of it is, I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet I'm equally unable to be bad.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah, seems like losing all ambition. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul. The person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous sword master. Hyman heard that he's the present-day master of Meikyo Shisui art. Sounds pretty impressive. This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people around. Let's go talk to them.
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he fought them all off in the end, didn't he?
Maybe, but I'm still worried about him. Things have gotten dangerous before in the...
It's just because he's been possessed.
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while... Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live to regret...
No! You got it so wrong. We just came here to...
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of Meikyo Shisui, but then we got here and overheard you talk...
From the way you're dressed, please, accept my apologies. We've had so many people trying to cause us trouble recently. You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently. And I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow disciple, Sensei's name is Domon. Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to... He once said that his goal was to become the best, and so, even while training us, he continued... But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away. He says the strangest things over and over. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil spirit. But if I'm honest, I still have my doubts over...
The Grand Narukami Shrine? What's that?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty Shogun herself. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine, so don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is... The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both more than welcome to...
So, losing your vision can cause possession?
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. You would have had to witness Sensei just now, when Nanako was attending to him. She heard him whispering a few names to himself. When she asked him who the people were, he suddenly looked panic-stricken and pushed her away. It looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantically around him with bloodshot eyes. All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew, others we didn't recognize. but they all seem to be the names of swordmen. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's, his senior, in fact. But since they defeated him in a duel, Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the Shrine Maidens managed to subdue him. The ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the result. Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up, he is sure to be...
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? Uh-oh. We won't let them get away with it. Come on, Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted!
How did you... Are you sure you're Domon's unless... I guess it's been a few years.
Excuse me? We're the ones asking and what are you doing sneaking around these parts?
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with Domon back in the day. Long before... I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if...
His senior?
Anzai? Yes, that's me. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever again. When we were young, we trained under the same swordmaster. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and dependable old practitioners of Make Yoshi's Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, but Domon was different. The first thing he did when Sensei scolded him. I thought so too at the time. Only then did I realize that he was consumed by...
Sure sounds like he meant...
Because until he arrived, of all the disciples, Domon's arrived later. After that So, I decided to... So you see... Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. Still, Paimon's not sure we should bring him back.
What? You're saying does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how?
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant... But spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. And all is certainly not lost, for
Lady Yai? Is that...
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable. I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sensei. But...
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask, should we prepare a greeting gift for Lady Yai?
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival. I must leave now.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice of our...
Do you mean to say that since...
No, that's not what I meant. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maid. Anyway, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei, we...
Sure! After all, who knows? Maybe...
A reward on the road. Yeah.
Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junyo is so excited. She has a really striking presence. Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look right at us just now? It was probably nothing. It's not like she's ever seen us before.
Keep away. Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please, let me go, I beg you.
As you can see, Lady Yai, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have lost to him in duels past, gathered all around him to persecute him.
Lady Yai, it must be a possession, right? This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no matter what came his way, he would always face it with a confident smile.
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not possessed by any evil spirit.
But then does that mean he...
Yes. This is a change in the person himself. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits impaired, he finally descended into madness. As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths. As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision. For to be stripped of one's vision is to be stripped of one's ambition.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition, why should he suffer such a dramatic change?
Your school practices Meikyo Shisui art, does it not? Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in this world could ever hope to achieve it. There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was aggrieved enough that he crossed blades with a disciple he himself had taught. Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both? Can one truly remain unagitated, of still mind in moments such as these?
Lady, I'm not sure I understand.
The path of the sword master is filled with twists and turns. It is no small undertaking to pursue the position of greatest sword master in the world. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut down the hopes and dreams of others, even those of one's closest companions. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the pain of these encounters, to focus on the way ahead. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he battled his growing anxiety, he slowly descended into the state you see him in now. Much like a certain fatally flawed friend of mine.
Poor Sensei. To think he's been suffering so greatly.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Father, Sensei, Ansai.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that Ansai? Where did he come from? Did he follow us the whole way here?
Ansai, why are there two of you? Is that you or a ghost? You're here for revenge, aren't you? I knew it would come. I never should have.
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from kindly. But I didn't come here to settle a score. It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong that day. I couldn't face the humiliation. That's why I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, we entrusted them to you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer, since you've been stripped of your ambitions too. But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow the way of the sword all the way to the highest peak. You taught them that.
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But what if it was all if there's a chance they'll end up like me one day?
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, I can't know whether I will suffer in my future. I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head.
Nanako's far from the only one. Goodness.
You see? You can place being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me. So I can't just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was.
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of Miyakyo. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. But as your sensei, this is my promise. And I humbly ask—
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally anyway, but I am now used to the life of a wanderer.
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over on his behalf. Guess that sort of solves this one, huh?
Traveler, a moment, please. Lady Yai has some words for you.
So, my intuition was correct. The wind that blows from afar carries fresh life to these shores. For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child. Don't disappoint me.
Ooh, Lady Yai seems to have taken a real interest in you. She seems super mysterious. Paimon's so curious what she really meant by all that. We can come back to it another time. For now, we should go report back to Miss Kamisato.